The Luxembourg Stock Exchange has invested in 4 promising startups that we are excited to present today. Each one of them capitalizes on technology to improve specific aspects of capital markets. Our first stop takes us to London, where the fintech Origin is based. Through digital deal execution and automated documentation flows, Origin digitizes bond issuance processes from A to Z. And it's my great pleasure to hand over to Origin's co-founder and CEO, Raja Palaniappan. And Raja, tell us, what is your vision of future bond issuance processes and how Origin contributes to improving capital markets?
Thank you, Natalie. It's great to be here this evening. In fact, it's great to be back here. 3 years ago, I had the pleasure of speaking at the Stock Exchange's 90th birthday celebrations. And already back then, we were painting our vision for the future of the capital markets. At Origin, we've been working on this problem for nearly 6 years now. And in that whole time, we've learned one simple but very important lesson, which is that no matter how good technology gets, we will never remove the human element from the capital markets. At the end of the day, this is, and it always will be, a people business. And we humans crave the comfort that we get from our relationships with our counterparties, and we're not ready to replace that with robots. However, what technology can do is automate all of the processes and administrative tasks that we spend most of our time on today, freeing us up to do what humans do best, which is thinking creatively and building relationships. Imagine a world where issuing a bond is just as easy as buying something on Amazon. I will still seek out guidance and advice on when and how much to borrow, just like I'll look on Amazon and read customer reviews. But once I'm ready to do a deal, I click a few buttons and then voila, the package arrives on my doorstep the next day. That is the vision for the capital markets that we are seeking to build. Once a borrower is ready to access the markets, we want to make the documentation, issuance, listing, and settlement process so easy that it's just like buying something on Amazon. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was Amazon Prime. In fact, the one-click shopping and next-day delivery that we take for granted today in 2021 is actually the result of years of groundwork and investment by Amazon, developing systems, investing in automation, and building infrastructure, both digital and physical infrastructure, to enable that magic to happen. At Origin, we are laying that groundwork today for the capital markets, so that hopefully one day in the future, issuing a bond can be just as easy and seamless. So what does that look like in practice? The Origin platform now comprises 3 distinct but interrelated products that follow the life cycle and follow the stages of a bond issuance. The Origin marketplace is focused on origination. We bring together dealers and issuers like LinkedIn for the bond markets. We have about 20 dealers and just over 90 issuers who are actively communicating and trying to identify opportunities to issue. Once they've found one, Origin documentation helps automate the generation of all the necessary documents for the transaction. So that includes bond and swap term sheets, but crucially also the legal final terms that define the transaction. Origin post-trade disseminates those documents and the data contained within them to market infrastructure institutions to help facilitate listing and settlement. In fact, one of the first connections that we built was with the Luxembourg Stock Exchange. And we're very excited to announce that just a few weeks ago, we did our very first digitally listed trade. We're currently building a similar connection with one of our other partners, Clearstream, and we soon hope to go live with automating the first settlement steps. Eventually, we want to be able to automate everything, including the payment of the net proceeds, so that one day we can achieve truly T+0 issuance, listing, and settlement. With each of our 3 products, we are bringing efficiency to each stage of the issuance process. Each product is developed to work with the other products so that we can streamline the entire process from front to back. And every day, we examine and re-examine the workflows, trying to identify other steps that we can automate so that we can bring more efficiency and bring us closer to our vision of a one-click, fully digital bond issuance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roger, and we understand that efficiency is set to improve. Switching gears and moving away from bond issuance, our next stop is the Luxembourg startup StarTalers, an online investment advisor focused on sustainable investment and specifically tailored to women. Gaelle Haag, StarTalers co-founder and CEO, is here to tell us how the startup wants to make financial markets more inclusive and more accessible. Gaelle, what is your vision of the accessibility of future capital markets, and concretely, how will you go about to strengthen retail participation?
Thank you for the question, Natalie. Indeed, one of the missions of StarTalers is to be women's BFF, best financial friend. Because today, only 10% of women invest their savings. That's half as many as men. But is it a problem worth focusing on? Well, yes, because today women have 40% less capital to live through retirements. So they have 40% capital less, and they live 5 years longer. They earn less, thus they save less, and they invest even less. It's a huge opportunity cost. But also, women's wealth is growing, and growing faster than men's. Over the next decade, we anticipate women's wealth to grow at 7% per annum, only 5% for men. And today, we control already 32% of the wealth worldwide. So not only is it a social issue that we all need to tackle, but it's also a significant business opportunity, still vastly underestimated. But why are so few women investing today? Well, research points out 3 main factors that we actually use to build our platform, Capitana. The first one is financial literacy and the confidence we have in it, or the lack thereof. An experiment has been recently run in the Netherlands, submitting a financial literacy questionnaire to men and women. They observed a gap of roughly 15% between female and male financial literacy. However, that questionnaire had an answer choice, I don't know. They ran a second experiment with the same questionnaire, but taking out that option, forcing respondents to actually give an answer. A third of the literacy gap disappeared, which led researchers to conclude that a third of the literacy gap is actually a confidence gap. The second factor is the fact that women, more than men, consider money more as a means towards an end. Today, globally, women still have a disproportionate responsibility for family priorities. According to a BCG study, because of this responsibility, women tend to anticipate and plan for key events or life stages. That makes them more goal-oriented investors when they decide to invest, rather than product seekers or performance benchmarkers, which is, the narrative of the industry. By the way, that makes them better investors, as their long-term investment makes that they trade less and they generate 1 to 2% better net performance. The last reason is value. Obviously, men and women care about the performance of their investments. However, women in greater proportion mention impact as one of the key factors towards choosing their investments. Women tend to invest in funds that not only perform well, but also generate positive impact. And that's why we've developed our goal-based sustainable investing platform to encourage as many women as possible to start taking ownership of their financial future. To conclude, unlocking the potential of women's wealth not only empowers us to thrive, but also it injects billions into sustainable investing, thus accelerating the transition towards a greener, more sustainable, more inclusive economy. So it's not just feminism, it's common sense. It's business sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaelle. And making capital markets more inclusive is definitely a very important mission. We have already heard from two of our guests without mentioning a blockchain or artificial intelligence, but that is about to change because up next is FundsDLT, a startup which simplifies fund setup and distribution operations while using blockchain technology. And its CEO, Olivier Portenseigne, is also with us here today. Olivier, let me ask you, how can tech improve fund distribution and how does a more transparent distribution chain benefit investors and other market players?
Oh, thank you, Natalie, for this question, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a step back. So after 3 years of incubation within the Luxembourg Stock Exchange and FundSquare, and the successful closing of our first funding round in April last year, FundsDLT is now a reality and backed by 4 major industry players: Clearstream, Credit Suisse, Natixis, and obviously the Luxembourg Stock Exchange. And I would like also to take this opportunity to say to my former colleagues, which are here, that I'm very grateful for having provided us an environment that favored entrepreneurship and the launch of such a fantastic initiative. So FundsDLT has been created from a long observation of the fund distribution chain. First of all, this distribution of funds is very intermediated and includes financial advisors, banks, insurers, fund distribution platforms, transfer agents, and asset managers. And it is very costly, slow, and not transparent. We also firmly believe that investment fund products are part of the solution to the pension issue, but only if we are able to make it cheaper. Our vision is to simplify fund distribution and foster financial inclusion and savings. Our mission is to reconnect investors and asset managers by helping all intermediaries to streamline back-office activities through a shared market infrastructure based on blockchain and a same network. Our objective is to make investment fund distribution easier, cheaper, and more transparent. The platform enables all intermediaries to share data, transactions, accounts in real time and remove redundant activities. And even if we are providing our product and services to intermediaries, it's all about their clients. One fundamental value at FundsDLT is to deliver product and services that benefits to the end investor. The end investor matters in everything we do, and these are the ones that need to be put back center stage. As many wealth and asset managers reach out to new client segments and target new generation of investors, hyper-personalization of services will become the norm. Transparency means understanding the real needs of investors and providing the appropriate service at the right time. And technology today enables this to be a reality. However, it requires profound transformation. And in an environment of fee compression, wealth and asset managers must embrace new technology to remain relevant. Digital transformation goes beyond the simple creation of a mobile app. And it requires profound transformation, and they need to transform operations and back-office processes. And if done correctly, it's a powerful way to open up new opportunities to grow and maintain competitive edge. They need a vision that is strategic, aligned, and long-term, and aligned with investor needs. Technology serves a purpose. And as an industry, our fund industry, our only purpose should be to better serve the end investor. And this is where FundsDLT add value, easing access to product, bringing transparency and knowledge on customer while reducing costs. Working together and integrating fintech within organization will help build the next generation of infrastructure and roll out more adapted solutions and services to the end investors. We should never forget why we do what we do today, serving end investor and their objectives. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, Olivier. And transparency is key also in fund distribution. Let's move from blockchain to artificial intelligence, and let's zoom in on Tetrao, another Luxembourg-based newcomer. Tetrao uses technology based on artificial intelligence to identify and collect vast volumes of data, and is working together with the Luxembourg Stock Exchange on data collection for the RGX data hub. And Christian Gillot, Tetrao's founder and CEO, is here to tell us more. Good afternoon, Christian. How can artificial intelligence-based technology transform the financial sector? And what is the true power of data?
Indeed, Natalie, what is the true power of data? Well, let me illustrate that with an example in sustainable finance. In just 3 months, our team was able to collect 200,000 pages of documentation from thousands of green bonds issuers from all over the world and in all kinds of languages, and extracts from those 200,000 data points specific to a sector that we never worked in before. All that complying with the utmost quality standards set by the Luxembourg Green Exchange team. This demonstrates the advantage that artificial intelligence gives to its first adopters. And mark my words, artificial intelligence is not a tech bet. It's not a maybe. It's just part of the new normal way of working. And it's going to impact every single actor in the industry. Now, to go into more details, there are 2 kinds of machine learning algorithms. They're the ones working on structured data. For instance, the ones that detect fraudulent transactions in your accounts. These have been implemented by the industry a long time ago, because adapting to change is part of business. And the second one is working on unstructured data, making it possible for computers to understand websites and documents intended for human investors. This is a great innovation that is going to change everything, because be it for compliance, for legal reasons, for marketing, for research, for transparency, processes related to documentation are done manually today, and people that do it don't like it, actually. I remember talking to someone working in the asset management industry in Luxembourg, an analyst, who told me that every year his job for 2 months is to check all the keys of his company. And when I told him that with our technology we could automate most of it, his eyes were shining. He was saying, oh, happy, hope, finally. Because automation means that you can do more often, faster, with the same happy team. Artificial intelligence, this revolution is happening, and although it may sound like a paradox from a tech founder, rather than machine and algorithms, what matters are people. And why is that? It's because artificial intelligence is only as good as the data you give it to train, and it always needs new quality data. That means that in the future, the capital markets will require a more and more skilled workforce, understanding the complexity of the business logic of data. And for that, the Luxembourg Financial Center is very well positioned with high-skilled talent from all over Europe and the world, because competition is going to happen, and it's going to happen on people. Innovation is thus being implemented, and that's good news. Just 2 years ago, I was presenting at Alfie, where Natalie was here also, I remember, and people were puzzled about artificial intelligence and curious how it would impact their own business. The situation today has dramatically improved, and the whole ecosystem knows it's a must for the future. But there's something special about this revolution, unlike the previous one. It's how fast it goes. And to illustrate that, let's talk about our work on investment funds. 2 years ago, we started to work on this sector, which is so important for Luxembourg. And we started to work on data collection, data understanding. A year ago, we covered a quarter of the whole European market. Now, it's half. And a year from now, it's going to be 95% of the market, which means that in 3 years, a new actor in the ecosystem, partnering with the best, is capable of processing as much data than the global incumbents. That's unheard of, and that is the power of data. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christian. Automation and scale are likely to define the future of the financial industry. We have just heard how tech will bring efficiency, inclusion, automation, scale, and transparency to different capital markets activity. FundSquare, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Luxembourg Stock Exchange, is the main data hub of Luxembourg domicilized funds. It has partnered with FundsDLT and with Tetrao and is capitalizing on technology to provide its clients an extended data coverage throughout the whole fund life cycle. And how are they doing this? Check out this short video presentation.
Data is everywhere, at all times. It is inherent to your business, but often it's too abstract. Data has a life cycle. It is created, it is exchanged, it is copied, it is altered, it is accessed and used by multiple counterparties. Do you have control of your data? Data must be qualified, organized, and structured. The use of data is concrete, but to bring value requires quality, consistency, and rapidity to now begin its journey. The first main and official duty is towards regulators. Data is required to support cross-border registration and compliance. Communication of data is necessary to support product distribution and reach clients everywhere and at the same time. Data is combined with other data provided by our partners along different steps of the life cycle for different purposes. Data can be enriched. Our partner makes use of AI to extract additional data that we ultimately combine for multiple other purposes. FundSquare, combined with our ecosystem of partners, ensures consistency, traceability, and enables you to take control of your data throughout the life cycle. The value provided by the FundSquare ecosystem goes beyond the value of each individual service and combines compliance, consistency, and transparency throughout the life cycle of your products. FundSquare. Run your data. Don't let your data run you.